There are new questions about Elon Musk's role. He's now been classified a special government employee. So what does this mean? Today in the Oval Office, President Trump was asked, why has Musk been given access to the Treasury, the payment systems, the information involving millions of Americans? The president answering on Musk to let people go that he thinks are no good, if we agree with him.
That he could agree to change your mind on the tariff?
Well, we can always, but look, what I'd like to see, Canada become our 51st state. We give them protection, military protection. We don't need them to build our cars. I'd rather see Detroit or South Carolina or any one of our Tennessee, any one of our states build the cars. They could do it very easily. We don't need them for the cars. We don't need them for lumber. We don't need them for anything. We don't need them for energy. We have more energy than they do. We don't need them for energy. So I say, why are we doing this? Why are we willing to lose between $100 billion and $200 billion a year? We don't need them. As a state, it's different. As a state, it's much different. And there are no tariffs. So I'd love to see that, but some people say that would be a long shot. If people wanted to play the game right, it would be 100% certain that they'd become a state. But a lot of people don't like to play the game because they don't have a threshold of pain. And there would be some pain, but not a lot. The pain would be really there. So we're going to meet again.
Let's just take Super Bowl Sunday, okay? It's going to affect beer, okay? Most of it, Corona here, comes from Mexico. It's going to affect your guac. Because what is guacamole made of? Avocados, both from Mexico.
These tariffs will go into effect tomorrow.
Yep.
25% on Canada and Mexico, 10% on China. Are you expecting retaliation?
We'll see what happens, but I think, unfortunately, the retaliation has already happened. The problem with this whole idea that they're going to retaliate is they have already been taking advantage of America for decades. The retaliation is Donald Trump saying no more. We're not going to be taken advantage of anymore, and I think it's important the president is doing what he's doing. Now, look, it looks different ways and comes in different forms, whether you're talking about Canada or China or Mexico. We know that Mexico has allowed the facilitation of the illegal drug trade and illegal sex trafficking for years and has done nothing about it. If they want to be a better partner to us, the time starts now. We know the Chinese, of course, have stolen American manufacturing jobs for 30, 40 years, and also that they facilitated the trafficking of illegal fentanyl into Mexico, where the drug cartels then bring it into our country. We are sick of being taken advantage of. We still have, thank God, the biggest economy in the entire world, the best people and the best workers, but the message from President Trump to the entire world is very clear. We are done being taken advantage of, and we have a president who looks out for the interests of American citizens. Thank God we do, and we're going to try to do it the best we can.
A defense agency is banning events such as Black History Month and other special observances. The Pentagon's intelligence arm, for example, will no longer celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Women's History Month, and Pride Month. WREG's Alex Coleman tells why some retired military leaders in Memphis are blasting the Pentagon's decision to comply with President Trump's executive orders.
Reaction pouring in on the latest move from the White House. In response to President Trump's executive order banning diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, the Pentagon's intelligence agency has paused special event programs and related events.
These are the kinds of things that he would do.
The affected events include the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. birthday, Black History Month, Women's History Month, Holocaust Day and Days of Remembrance, Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, LGBT Pride Month, Juneteenth, Women's Equality Day, National Hispanic Heritage Month, National Disability Employment Awareness Month, and National American Indian Heritage Month. President Trump has put a spotlight on DEI initiatives in a series of executive orders in his first week in office, with the White House saying that, quote, DEI creates and then amplifies prejudicial hostility and exacerbates interpersonal conflict.
Another day, another campaign promise set to become a reality as President Trump is reportedly preparing an executive order aimed at dismantling the Department of Education. And many parents, including our next guest, say it can't come soon enough, as the nation's most recent report card, we told you about this last week, shows math and reading scores down even more.
The president was very clear about the fact that he cannot believe the failure we're seeing in our public schools.
Okay, so we all know that the schools are not working well. And we have heard Donald Trump say, let's just get rid of the Department of Education. You were there at that roundtable. You heard from a number of American governors. What were they telling the folks there at the White House they needed to do?
They were saying that parents want more choice. We've seen, on top of academic failure, this toxic soup of SEL and DEI and CRT. The president's taken executive action on those issues. And the governor said, give us more power in the states to be able to meet the needs of our communities. And let's help parents to put them in the driver's seat so they can make the best decisions for their kids.
Meantime, Secretary of State Marco Rubio has been appointed acting director of USAID as Elon Musk threatens to shut down the humanitarian agency. Local 10's Annalise Garcia in our newsroom now with more on this stunning shakeup. Annalise.
Calvin, Marco Rubio confirmed many of the agency's programs would continue under the State Department. In the meantime, President Trump speaking about the significant cuts in the USAID workforce that are to come. The president also addressing Elon Musk's role in all of this.
Well, he's got access only to letting people go that he thinks are no good, if we agree with him.
President Trump confirming Elon Musk's role with the U.S. Treasury Department's vast payment system.
He's a very talented guy from the standpoint of management and costs, and we put him in charge of seeing what he can do with certain groups and certain numbers. Some of the numbers are horrible, what he's found. Elon can't do and won't do anything without our approval.
Musk's message about wasteful government spending has been clear.
Your money is being wasted, and the Department of Government Efficiency is going to fix that.
How much do you think we can rip out?
I think we can do at least $2 trillion.
The one thing I think that's very interesting is the fact that the unions are going to be freaking out. You're going to hear a lot of fear mongering about closing the Department of Education, what that's going to mean for students. We have academic failure happening, and the unions are making billions of dollars off the backs of public school failure. So thank God we have President Trump. He's the voice for parents here in Washington, D.C. You know, moms don't have a lobby. Public school kids don't have a lobby. And so we're very thankful for him that he's, putting kids first in America.
Well, Tiffany, as we saw Donald Trump with the tariffs in Mexico and Canada yesterday, right. Is this perhaps a negotiation where he says, I'm going to close the Department of Education to extract something from the unions that we're just talking about?
The president's going to make that decision, and that's up to him. He did speak on the campaign trail a lot about wanting to close the Department of Education. Again, as I said, we have widespread academic failure. And so, anything that he can do to give power to the parents, use every tool in the toolbox, as I've said before, in order to give power back to the parents, in order to give power back to the states and out of the federal government.
Indeed.